Hello guys, so yeah, and I'm in an action plan for biology. So actually we're already done with cell structure and functions, and we're going in a sequential order, means not in terms of chapter numbers, but on concepts. Means, now I'll tell you, if we would have started with chapter 2, we had few terminologies in it, like we have it, like unicellular, multicellular, but we don't know what are these. Okay, when we get to know that these are made up of cells, now we'll be more curious to know like what are cells and all, isn't it? And we have to wait for the chapter to be explained by the teacher. Rather than this, we can simply start with the cell structure and functions chapter and then move on with other chapters. Could be microorganisms, then with conservation of plants and animals, crop production, and then reproduction and reaching the age of adolescence, everything, all the chapters. So now we'll start with microorganisms, friend in food chapter. Yeah. So now first we'll understand the chapter name, microorganisms. What are these microorganisms? Microorganisms are the living organisms. Okay, they are the living organisms which we normally cannot see them. They're not seen, with the naked eyes. We need a microscope to view such microscopic organisms. You know, that's the reason they are named microorganisms or microbes. You understood this point? I hope so. And now we have two words over here, friend and foe. Friend means obviously microorganisms. It says that we have few benefits of microorganisms. Even we encounter few harmful things from microorganisms too. Now we'll understand four major groups of microorganisms. Those four are bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae. And all, viruses are also microscopic, but they are not a part of microorganisms. Reason is that, I'll just explain. In the next sentence, you'll understand the meaning. They only reproduce only inside the body of a, only inside the cell of a living organism, only inside the cell of the host organism. Sorry, only in the cell of the host organism. It could be me. Okay, it could be humans, animals, plants, bacterium, anything. Now, now, this is also called as a biological puzzle. These viruses are also called biological puzzle. Why is that when they're outside of your human body, they act like a non-living thing, something like your could be something like your pillow, this bed or something. It's just non-living component like an abiotic substance. But when it enters into your body, okay, it multiplies, it reproduces in the cell. It multiplies. It affects us. Okay, we see COVID. The same thing, same thing happens with COVID. It is something like it acts like a non-living thing outside, but when it is inside your human body, it is a living organism. That's the reason they're not microorganisms, because bacteria, fungi, they can reproduce themselves. They don't need to go and involve in other organisms. Whereas viruses has to go to, it has to enter into another organism so that it can reproduce or multiply itself. I hope you understood this point. Now let's see a few diseases caused by viruses. Your coughs, common cold, these are few ailments which are caused by viruses. And diseases, chicken pox, hepatitis, polio, measles, even present COVID-19 virus. It is also part of viruses. Now we'll understand diseases, about diseases caused by protozoa. Dysentery and malaria are caused by protozoa. And typhoid, cholera, tuberculosis are the diseases caused by bacteria. Here we have few pictures. These are few types of bacteria. This is, I think, I don't remember. Yeah, this is spirilla bacteria and this is rod-shaped bacteria. And lactobacillus is an example of rod-shaped bacteria. Now you'll learn about it in the upcoming, in the upcoming chapter, like, part of the chapter. So, and chlamydomonas and spirogyra are examples of algae, amoeba, paramecium of protozoa. And what is a fungi is? Fungi is a plant which does not have a chlorophyll. And examples are bread mold, penicillium, and aspergillus. Now we'll understand. Now where do these microorganisms live? Can they live in all types of environments? Yes, they can live in all types of environments. Could be there in Arctic desert, could be in Ladakh desert, or it could be in Thar desert. It can live anywhere. It can adjust in any hot climate or any cold climate. That is a specialty of these microorganisms. Few microorganisms live freely, like, they live freely, but they live in individual way. like to, few live in individually and few live in groups. Okay, now here, if you see, some microorganisms on other organisms also, they exist freely. You can understand it. And when we talk about microorganisms and this, there are two things. We have benefits with it. We have, few harmful things which we're encountering with it. We'll understand those in the next part. This is enough for this part. I hope you understood and liked this first part. And let's meet in the second part.